It's not a secret to anyone, TF2 is not in a good state right now. The game is a bit of a mess. From hackers to stupidly unbalanced games, to the fact that only about 10% of the players are actually playing the core game. But it wasn't always like that, and today I want to explore where it all began. This is going to be a little bit of a different video, so put your seatbelts on, grab a coke, grab a snack, and let's get into this wild ride. Many attribute the downfall of the game with the SEIZURE update, also known as the day that TF2 went free to play. The one update that was considered the biggest, most ambitious update in the history of Team Fortress 2. And goddamn right it was. Not only it opened a huge door to everyone to join in the game, but it added 22 brand new weapons, about 10 cosmetics, 1 map, and introduced custom taunts before they got popular as they are today. And this is insane compared to anything else we've ever received since. Well, I'll get to that later. Nonetheless, this is still considered where it all started to go bad. While I don't agree with the statement, I do believe that this was an important mark in TF2 history. This is where a new generation of players started to kick in, and I will lie if I say that I wasn't part of it. I downloaded the game the day after the announcement, and I gave it a shot. And I could literally say that it opened to me the doors to the good parts of gaming industry. Because, you know, my previous experience was something not so good. In any case, even if this was one of the most gameplay changing updates, it would probably never top one of my favorite major updates. For many years fans were speculating what it was about that weird robot head in that trailer, or what those numbers meant, or what was even happening in those blurry pictures hidden in secret rooms around the newly released maps, all hyping up the strong growing player base. And as all of you know, revealing the Man vs Machine update. Not only brought a whole new concept of co-op in a PvP based game, but it expanded the whole universe of the game, with the same amazing charm that it had to offer since the beginning. Plus, if you just spend a single dollar, you could play much more challenging missions that will actually reward you in the end with either a weapon or an MVM specific hat that you could only get by playing this single mode. And trust me, they were the coolest thing back then. I know now they're practically worthless. And just like hats, with a much more clear drop rate, if you completed a whole tour by doing all the missions, you will be rewarded with a strange stock weapon with a robot head attached to it. Again, with a small chance of having a rare version of it. Like for instance, by completing Operation Steel Trap, you will be rewarded with a silver bot killer for sure, but you had a low chance of getting a gold version of it. Bear with me, there were no such thing as golden weapons back then. So why am I telling you all this? I know you know, but honestly, this is just to prove a point. This could be the last update that Valve has ever put out without it being flawed. They worked around it 3 years according to all the hints they've given us, and the results really shows how polished this whole thing is. And I know we received 2 more MVM content after that, but the whole Metro update just feels like an extra content that could have easily been shipped with the original MVM, and the 2 cities could be considered the last hurrah to the game mode itself, since it hasn't been really explored by the team since. So, taking all of this, I would consider the beginning of the end somewhere in the middle between the SEIZURE update and the MVM one. And if I want to be precise, I think I can actually find the date for it. And that's the 13th October 2011, the Manniversary update, or to be more specific, the introduction of the workshop. Disclaimer, I don't think the workshop ruined the game, at all. Actually, it opened the door to a lot of modelers, artists and animators to express their vision of the game, creating astonishing community-made updates that could easily pass for official ones. But I would accuse the workshop to have broken the TF2 devs in a simple way. It just made them lazy. They noticed how well people could do their job, and usually even more faster. So why bother creating new models, textures or update pages anymore when all they could do is literally picking 57 reskin ads and adding them in the game? Yeah. The fuck was that about? But even if the team itself should take most of the blame from this regard, there's someone else to blame for this. Us. We wanted more customizable option and thus more hats. We saw how funny would it be to add a ballerina fairy set for a strong Russian man. The TF2 team just delivered. It was an easy income for them, and after all, Valve is just a company. But it reached a point that snapped into people's head, and they realized that this wasn't working so good. But it clearly didn't go bad altogether. We still had plenty of fun updates like Gunmetal with the introduction of contracts, a real simple but efficient ways to have fun by completing a checklist for a reward, making you feel like a true mercenary. But other than that, I can't say we've had anything groundbreaking. 2 updates celebrating a really amazing Don Searles filmmaker movie and a decently mediocre one, seasonable events that went from amazing it's alright, what the fuck? But Pannox, you're praising the community updates, why are you not listing any one of them? Actually, you're wrong, because there is one community update which I really liked, and that's Invasion. I know people really don't enjoy that one for some reason, but look, it had 4 maps, and one of them even brought a new game mode. I don't see nothing wrong with that, but I think it's around the end of 2015, where the majority of the TF2 team just either ran out of ideas, or they moved on. Most of them just straight up jumped ship to other projects, while the ones remaining kept rehashing old formulas trying to make them work, or straight up add cosmetics and call it a day. All of this went on and on until the day that the TF2 developers decide to take the game, bring it to the backyard and load up their shotguns. This is, to this day, the only true major content that has been released in the last year since the making of this video. And out of all the TF2 rough updates launches, this has to be the most unstable and broken in the history of multiplayer games. Claimed to be in the works since 2013, there was no polish shown like with the Man vs Machine update. It forced competitive rules into casual modes, next to no new game modes beside pastime, which is not very popular in the community. Listing weapon attributes as bugs and insanely long wait queue times that made the game impossible to play nor enjoy. Not only had an awful beginning, but it took the team several months to fix the major problems that this update brought to the game, which sadly was enough time to make players switch to other popular games. Well, this was almost a year ago, and what is the current state of the game? Casual mode is surely more playable now than when it was first introduced, even if you have to deal with the fact that most of the matches are going to be completely one-sided and the level system is merely cosmetic. Cause I'm pretty damn positive that they didn't introduce an even MMR system to track how well a player can do. I understand the reason of removing the auto balance option, because it was really dumb to cap a point in King of the Hill, and 10 seconds before the game was concluded, you might get backstabbed, finding yourself in the enemy team and lose the game you just won. But asking nicely to switch team when you're stomping a pub server? Who really wants to join the side that can't even leave the spawn? But I think we should mention the one mode that was supposed to be the shining star of this update. Competitive mode. Right now you have the very minor chance to rank up and earn a virtual coin that means absolutely nothing, only if you have the patience to sit tight and bear through some slightly longer queue times just to be matched with random hackers or unbalanced team consisted of rank 18 playing against rank 2. Not to mention, through spending all your time through all this madness, you will get absolutely nothing. No rewards, not even a shitty shiny medal. Nonetheless, the TF2 team stated that we'll be taking a much closer look at the competitive scene, with even more weapon balances and possibly a complete rework of the competitive rank system. And with the Pyro update coming up, promising new contracts, new weapons, and hopefully new maps, it will most likely bring all of these changes with himself. We can only hope that it will carry a powerful storm that will wash away all the rot that Meteor Match left behind. Because right now I can see the clouds coming in, but I honestly can't tell if they're radiated with a 2.0 sickness.